The families of our fallen soldiers now being told there's no money to bury those who died fighting for our flag. And wait, it gets worse. Plus, in another slight to our military, World War II vets told they aren't welcome here. But look who was.
Did you visit the vet memorial today?
Not yet.
Are you going?
So how could all of these people go to an immigration rally on the very same piece of property they were barricading last week?
At least 5 families so far told they won't be getting so-called death benefits to help pay for their funerals, the travel of their family members, and more. They include the family of 25-year-old Sergeant Patrick Hawkins. His mother telling us today she wants him to be remembered as honest, brave, and a hero. 24-year-old Special Agent Joseph Peters was on his 3rd deployment. His commanding general deeply saddened by the loss. Private First Class Cody Patterson was just 24 years old, remembered as someone who would have been successful at anything. Marine Lance Corporal Jeremiah Collins Jr., 19 years old. His mother says he loved the Marines. And 25-year-old Jennifer Moreno, on her 1st deployment. Her mother lives in San Diego, and her congressman is demanding, with all due respect, this seems like a middle finger to the family members of these heroes who died. And the question is, who's to blame? I know that you wrote a letter, a heated letter, to the Secretary of Defense today, asking Secretary Hagel how this could have happened, accusing him and his department of a careless legal interpretation, saying this was not a matter, that this was a matter of choice for them, which they deny.
Here's the problem with this. On the 28th of last month, pre-shutdown, we passed the Pay Our Militaries Act. It passed through the House, through the Senate, and the President signed it on the 30th of last month. That does cover this. You know, Congress says a lot of things. We're not always stupid. We actually saw this coming. That's why we passed that bill. This is an on purpose, in your face, middle finger, as you said so eloquently, to the military families. I mean, this is nothing other than that, because they were told explicitly by us, you can pay this. This is why we're passing this act unanimously through the House and the Senate, signed by the President. They are being careless, and this really does. This is reminiscent of them sending back bodies in cargo planes so they could be forklifted instead of with an honor guard, and the way that we ought to treat our men and women.
It's just incredible what's happening, because they're not going to get their funerals paid for. They'll have the ceremony at Dover, but when their
But the family doesn't even get to fly to Dover now.
The family doesn't get to, and these funerals,
No,
this
if
is
they pay
happening
out their own
tomorrow.
dime.
And this is happening tomorrow, so without the government money, unless a private contributor steps in, and it looks like that may happen now, these families are not going to be there at Dover.
No, think about this too. Your loved one is off serving. You're on military housing. You're barely getting by. The economy isn't great. Things are expensive at Camp Pendleton in San Diego because it's San Diego. You no longer have your sole breadwinner. You no longer have anything. So you're going to be living without pay. You have kids. I mean, that's the situation that the government is putting these guys in, and families, and it's pure bureaucracy. It's shameful. It's embarrassing. And they need to change it immediately. That's what needs to happen here. It needs to get fixed.
In the program.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Just want to mention to our viewers, we have reached out to the Pentagon. We've asked for an interview as well. I know you've been on our network over the last 24 hours. We haven't heard back, and so I just want to point out to our viewers that we were trying to find the other side to this. But
good luck.
Well, we're trying, right? That's our job. So, will this be resolved today?
It's going to be resolved today in the House of Representatives, and the Senate's going to pass it. But listen. These guys need to do their job in the Department of Defense and just pay these American heroes' families. Because here's what makes this even worse, makes me mad as hell, actually. Secretary Chuck Hagel is flying out to Dover to meet these coffins in his government airplane, but the families can't do it. That's what I was reading today, is that he's going to fly out there. So you're going to have the Secretary of Defense doing this nice ceremonious meet the coffin thing in Dover, Delaware, but the families are going to have to use their own dollars, or they're going to have to go through some charity to get their flights out there. The DOD can fix this, and the President, frankly, can fix this with a pen stroke. It would take him all of 5 seconds to get this done.
We asked the Pentagon about that, and we did get one statement from the DOD spokesman that said, unfortunately, as a result of the shutdown, we do not have the legal authority to make death gratuity payments at this time. They're wrong? Why?
Let me tell you why. On the 28th of last month, the House unanimously and the Senate unanimously, and the President then signed 2 days later before the shutdown, the Pay Our Militaries Act that provides for the sums and allowances to our military service members. That paid for this. They made a bad legal interpretation, and instead of correcting themselves and doing the right thing and paying these families, they doubled down on being obstinate just to prove that they were right.